Hey everybody, it's Tonya with Scrappy Chicks, and I am also a creative partner with Kiwi Lane, and I appreciate you joining this craft in. Tonight I'm showcasing some of the new products that were the new release that are available in the Kiwi Lane shopping website. And what I'm using to showcase these is I went through my kits, and I'm kind of in this Southwest vibe mode. So for this craft in tonight, I wanted to pull out one of those kits that I had in my stash, and it's called Let's Stick Together. This was March, I want to say, of 2020. I could be wrong. Might have been 2019. I think it was 2019. But it's got the cactus and the llama, and it just really has this Southwest vibe, and that's kind of the mood I was in. So that's where I'm pulling the papers from, is from this kit. If you have it, Let's Stick Together. So what I'm going to share with you is 3 layouts that I have completed. In this first layout, I went ahead and pre-made, and then I pre-made a second layout, and then we're going to build one together. So this one, I used the new border set. Let me pull that out over here. So the new border set is called Fancy Frills. So we have the Fancy Frills 2 is what I use with this one. And it pairs with Sunnybrook Lane 2A and 2B. So this is supposed to mimic the look of lace, if you want to call it that. And it does have the cutout pieces. So it's not really intended, Kiwi Lane did not intend for you to take a craft knife and cut each of these little pieces out. You can do that if you want to, but that could become very frustrating. Or if you trace it and cut out the little pieces of paper, you can do that too, but again, that can become frustrating. I think what Kiwi Lane's intention of giving you the cutouts every few spaces was so you could actually trace it onto your paper, so you don't have the frustration of cutting each of the little pieces out to make the lace. So that's what I did. So I used the color papers within the kit, and I used the Fancy Frills 2 and 3, and paired it with the Sunnybrook Lane 2A and Sunnybrook Lane 2B. So that's where I got both of these borders from. And then I didn't use these yet. I haven't used these yet, but there's also Fancy Frills 1A and 1B, and this kind of looks like waves. So there's 2 of those, and then there's this Fancy Frills 4 and Fancy Frills 5. I know there's a lot of talk about this looking like a dinosaur or a dragon, but for me, my son drives a race car dirt track on the weekends. He's a race car driver. So he does dirt track racing. So for me, this is mimicking the dirt track. So this I will use for his racing layouts whenever I do some racing layouts for him. So that set has 6 different templates, border templates in there. And they each complement, you know, they each have a pair that complement themselves. And then there's ideas on the back of the border set as well. So you'll see a lot of upcoming videos of different people, creative partners, doing craft ins with these as well. So there's lots of ideas. And there's ideas on the blog as well. So I also used the cactus, which came in this paper kit. So I also used the cactus. It's a la carte cactus. So that's what I used over here. And I just made it a little bigger. As you'll see, the actual size of this cactus is bigger than this one. I just elongated it when I traced it. And then I used the flower pot on the cactus to make my other flower pots. So that was fun to do. And then all these other ones, I just traced these pieces here. Like I traced this one out. And then I traced this one out and stuck it on there. So I built my own cactuses. I didn't just do this one. And my inspiration for these was I actually looked at the background paper here to pull my inspiration on how to design these. I actually look at the paper, and I do that quite often. So when Kiwi Lane comes out with a club kit or any of Kiwi Lane's paper, I look beyond the paper, so to speak. I look at the background of the paper, and I see what's going on in the background of the paper, and I pull inspiration from that. So that's how sometimes I feature design elements that are actually in the design paper and I take that element and then I recreate it and make it bigger. And I enjoy doing that. I play to create, and that's one way that I do that. This is a fairly simple layout. These are not adhered all the way down, so depending on what photos, I don't know what photos are going to go on here yet. That's why there's none on here. But I did leave room to slide photos underneath these. So I only glued on the edge. And I used the small template. I don't know if I brought it up here. It's called Delight. And it's a small template that you can use for the cards. But you can also use it on your scrapbooking layout. So that's what these came from. It's that template set called Delight. And this piece I actually made from, and I'm going to be showcasing the placemats too. The placemats are new to Kiwi Lane. This is a new concept. So this is placemat 1 here. So this design element here actually came from this placemat. I just didn't make it as long as this one, but that design element came from using this section in this placemat. So I'm going to explain this further in just a minute and go into greater detail. But this was the first layout that I did. And then I created a one-page layout. And again, it's that Southwest vibe. Let me check, make sure I'm in frame. Yes, I am. Okay. So this is a simple layout. Again, I used one of the new placemats, and this one's called Placemats 4. And it has options for 2 pictures. This can also be an option for a 3rd picture slot. So you could do this with 3 pictures if you want to, instead of the journaling. You can have it this direction, this is how I did it. I did it this direction. So I did a picture, and then I did a sentiment card that came in the kit, which says, though she be but little, she is fierce. So I will probably end up putting pictures of my great niece on here because she is little, but she is fierce. So I imagine that's what I'll be using, pictures of her. Plus, she's like the only little girly girl that I can scrapbook because I have boys. So, but she's usually what I scrapbook girly-wise. So, using Placemats 4, I was able to achieve this look here. And then I just traced this tab. I like this tab, but for this layout, I wanted the little fancier tab here. So I traced this tab, and I just traced it 3 times, and then I just tucked it behind. And again, this is a simple layout, but it's very pretty, I think. And then I wanted to bring in the feathers. So I have a la carte feather, and then there's another feather that I had, a la carte tickled. These, I'm pretty sure, came in previous club kits. So I just traced these out, And this layout was built off of scrap pieces of paper that I had left over from the other layouts. So I am all about using scraps. But what adds such dimension, I think, to this layout is I just used my fine tip Creative Memories pen. This is an old pen that I had. But you can get some of that detail. I'm going to try and hold this up. Let me stand up so I can see if the camera will let you see this detail here. Just using the pen and doing a pattern. Doing a squiggly line and a dot. I mean, that just adds a lot of dimension. And I did it across the bottom. And I am working on limited supplies. I've said in some of my previous videos, if y'all have seen those, either through my Scrappy Chicks YouTube channel or through the Kiwi Lane YouTube channel, I'm in the process of building a house. So I'm in the process of getting my current house on the market. So I have packed up most of my scrap room. So I'm really challenging myself because I'm leaving myself minimum supplies to work with. Because we will be moving into a rental property. We don't know where yet. And so I'm not going to be able to haul a lot of scrapbooking supplies. So I'm really challenging myself and pushing the limits and working with what I have left out. So, for example, I would have taken these feathers a step further. I would have ran some of these through my embossing machine. But I packed up my embossing machine. So, I would have given these more texture. I have different folders, and I just would have ran it through there real quick and been done with it, but that's okay. These little elements in the corner are very interesting, and I really like these. These I also pulled from Placemats 1. And I pulled them from this little element right here that Kiwi Lane has added into this placemat. And I'm going to showcase this placemat in my final layout that we're going to actually build together. But where I got the corners was from this right here. So I just put my scrap paper, traced it out, put it on there, and then I put one of the little what do you call these, epoxy dots. I put one of those in each of the corners. But I really like this element here. I think that's a nice feature of this placemat. But I'm going to showcase this one when we build a layout together in just 1 minute. Okay, so this was just a single page. But again, I used that Placemats 4 on this one. And this versatility is great because it can go this direction. Or it can go this direction. Or this direction. Or this direction. So, I mean, your possibilities of how you move this around your page, it'll give you a different layout each time you move it. It will not be the same layout. So, and then you have journaling boxes if you want to convert something into a journaling box, which is a nice feature. So I like that too. Or you can have 3 photos instead of 2 photos in a journaling box. So I really like this new concept from Kiwi Lane. There is going to be 4 total. They did skip a placemat because that's coming out later. So they have Placemat 1, which is this one, which I'm fixing to show you a layout with that. Placemat 2, which is this one. And it shows you your pictures, 3x4, 3x3, 2x2. And again, every time you turn it, that's going to be a different layout option. So you can turn this, you can turn it this way, do a layout. This way creates a different layout. This way creates a different layout. This way so the options are endless. And then they did Placemats 4. So Placemats 3 is coming out later. I think the next time they do a release is when that one's coming out. So that should be the next quarter, November, I think, if not a little bit earlier. So that's when, so I'm eager to see what Placemats 3 is going to be. Okay. So let's get to the final layout because I wanted to build that one with you. And I needed the back side of this layout. Okay, so let me make sure I've got this right. Yes. Okay. So again, these are the corners, and I went ahead and adhered these corners so I wouldn't lose them. So those corners came from Placemats 1, and this is what I'm showcasing on this layout, and I figured we'd build it together. Again, I'm going with this Southwest vibe. So I pre-cut all the pieces because I just didn't think, you know, that I needed to show me cutting all these pieces. So actually this one goes on here. It will go on here like this. So as you can see, well, this is longer than the actual placemat because what I did was I elongated this because I wanted to fill up more room. And that's really simple to do. You just put your placemat on your paper and you just trace to where it stops, but then you just slide it down and keep tracing as long as you want it. So that's how you do that. A lot of your templates you can elongate that way. So that's what I did with this one. Okay. So then we're going to bring in this element here. And then I wanted to do a chevron effect. And so what I used is, and I've marked my paper with pencil lines so it will keep me, so I'll know where these go. It goes right there like that. Okay, so I used that Delight again, and to be honest with you, I do not know why I did not use my chevron templates. I have them. I have all the chevron templates. But, well, I think I used Delight because I had used Delight template set and the others, and I already had it on my desk in front of me. So instead of getting out my chevron templates, I just grabbed it and went with it. So I think that's why I did that. I can be a lazy scrapbooker sometimes. I don't know if y'all are, but I can be. So I didn't get out chevrons. If you don't have Delight, which I think I have Delight right here. Yeah. Yeah, Delight 4. If you don't have these, that's okay. You can, but if you do have the chevron set, you can use the chevrons. But I had Delight in front of me on my desk, so that's why I grabbed that. Okay, so using that Placemat 1, this is my guide. So I wanted to put this piece here. Okay, and then I'm going to put my photos like this. And then put this chevron on here. Okay. Now, this is an interesting piece here. Again, I took the edge here and put it on this piece. So when I cut these pieces off of the sentiment card, it turned this into a different shape. And I can make a whole new template if I wanted to. So I could actually take this and trace it, and I may do that, and make my own Kiwi Lane template. So I wanted to use this color on the corners, but I wanted this actual sentiment. So I'm like, well, let's see how it looks. So I took this corner and I put it on here. This was a rectangle. And when I cut these out, I was just very careful in my tracing and took my time on cutting, but this made a whole nother shape. So what I'm probably going to do is trace this out on a piece of scrap cardstock and keep it as a whole nother template. And then I'll have a template of this shape because I really like it. Okay, and it says, if you were a cactus, I'd endure all the pain just to hug you. And I thought that was so fun. So then I use cactus, a la carte cactus again. And we're going to put that there. So we're going to copy this side. And we're going to make this side. And this has to slide down. Now I know why my pencil mark's down here. So let me slide all this down. Let me try and do this without, this comes down some. Okay. So I put a pencil mark on here as a reference of where I knew the scallop edge goes. And you probably see my pencil marks here, but that just kind of helps me line this up correctly. That's a trick you can do because no one's going to see these pencil marks. Plus you can go back and erase them off. But I do pencil marks quite often. Okay, so we're going to mimic. So we're copying. So we did this side. And so now we're going to flip it. And we're just going to shadow this basically, or copy, however you, mirror. That's the term I'm looking for. We're going to mirror what we did on this side. We're going to do it on this side. So I have my strip here. And I have my photos here. And then we're going to do our chevron up here. Because that really gives me, I just think chevron gives me that Southwest vibe. I really like that vibe. So we're going to put Delight here, like this. And if the photo needs to go under, that's okay. And I will have pictures at the end of this video of all this already adhered down. That way you can see it adhered down and everything's straight. And then I use the tab again. Actually, I think I swapped these out. That's what I did. Yeah, and at the picture at the end, you'll be able to see this put all together and it'll be straight and not be kind of wonky. Because these chevrons are hard to stay in place. So this is the little tab that I used from Placemats. Placemats 4. So see, you can cut these out and use these on different layouts. And so that's what I did. And then I have Let's Stick. It's just a small little title on this side. And then I'm probably going to foam dot these up to have them, give them a little bit of dimension. I'm going to probably foam dot these up some. So again, I use the a la carte cactus, and that's where I made my pots from. And then I just used the cactus and modified it. I did ink it all. And then again, I used my fine tip black marker or pen to draw in my cactus elements. Because my inspiration for that, again, I pulled from the paper. I'm going to stand up and see if I can show you this on this piece of paper. I don't know if you can see it well. But with this paper, there are black marks in here, lines and dots. And that was my inspiration from that, that I pulled from that. Again, I looked what I call beyond the paper. I really look at the paper. You can look at paper and then you can really look at paper. And because I'm a paper fanatic, I really look at paper and I draw inspiration. And Kiwi Lane gives you so much inspiration from the paper that they make, because they make phenomenal paper. If you are not a Kiwi Club member, I highly recommend that you try it. At least try it. You can cancel anytime. There's no commitment for you to keep. You know, if you try it and it's not for you, then that's fine. But I would definitely give it a try. I would try the full system that comes with the paper. Another fun element about this is actually leather cord, and where I got this from, I ordered my mom a necklace for Mother's Day from Amazon, and they sent this box, this cute little crate box, and it had a message embedded into the top of the wood, and they had tied it up with this leather cord. And I said, Mom, I really need that leather cord for a layout. And she's like, okay. So, because I already knew what I was going to use this cord for when I saw it, I was like, that would really look good on my layout. So she gave me the cord. She didn't need it, so she gave me the cord. So that's where that came from. And I just taped it onto the back. But then I will adhere this down very well. So I'll probably use my art glitter glue to adhere that well so that stays. But it just gave it that rustic vibe that I was looking for. So I hope you've enjoyed some of these tips and tricks, and really take note of your paper in your Kiwi Club kits or any of your scrapbooking paper, and draw inspiration from that paper. And also draw inspiration from your templates. Again, taking this corner template, who knew that you can make a whole nother template out of that? And see, I can trace that and have another template in my stash. So I do that often. I look at my templates and draw inspiration from my templates as well. So I hope you have enjoyed this craft in. And again, I'll have pictures at the end. I would love to connect with you in the Kiwi Lane community. So my name is Tonya King. If you want to look for me, I would love to connect with you. On YouTube, I'm called Scrappy Chicks, and it's CHICS for the chicks. So look me up and connect with me through YouTube. That way you can see more of Kiwi Lane inspiration and ideas. And I hope to connect with you in the future. And I will be doing more craft ins as well, as I really do enjoy it. So thank you again for tuning in, and I hope you have a great night. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below, and I'll be glad to answer any of your questions. Thank you. Bye-bye.